Savvy Gamer here, and today we're going to be playing and talking about, just kind of rambling about Star Wars: The Old Republic. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I also have some Rolo hot chocolate I'm going to be sipping on. It's pretty good. Some more stuff out of that hot chocolate pack that I got from my mom for Christmas a couple years ago. In this playthrough, I am playing as my bounty hunter. We are level 33. At the time that I started this video, I think we're level 34 now. But, yeah, a while ago, a long time ago, I played this in a very long time. But I, at one point, went into the marketplace and purchased some like Mandalorian armor and a couple of blasters that I thought looked kind of cool to go with the character. And the armor is like modular, so I can add in and upgrade it as we level up, so that the stats and everything will kind of actually carry with me. So it's not like I have to keep equipping new armor or weapons or anything. They're all basically modular, where I can add the parts to them to make them basically the same level. As you can see here, we've got a jetpack and some cool Mandalorian armor and a couple of blasters, which I thought were pretty cool. One of them is kind of similar to like the style of like Han Solo's blaster from the movies. And like I know like as a bounty hunter at this time, like definitely Mandalorians and that whole thing was like Mandalorians were definitely a thing, more so now in this like age, this era of the Star Wars kind of galaxy of the Star Wars like universe. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool just to have some cool kind of Mandalorian looking armor. I do have a couple other profiles that I'm going to be playing. Excuse me. One of them being a Jedi Knight. One of them is a Sith warrior, and then the other one is an Inquisitor. And I've got some pretty cool armor for them too. But yeah, like I said, I haven't played this in a while, but it doesn't take too long to get back into it. It's actually pretty simple to get into, just because it's a lot of just knowing kind of, you know, your abilities and what works well against certain enemies and stuff, and kind of setting up the game how you want it to be, or setting up like your abilities kind of bar at the bottom. Just because you might have certain, like as you can see at the bottom, I've got my abilities basically all key mapped, at least from like 1 through to 0 are my actual like combat abilities. All my like passive or like non-combat essential or not like attacks and abilities are all on the bottom bar, which I don't really have mapped. You just have to click them. And as you can see, I am definitely more of a ranged bounty hunter. I've got my dual blaster pistols, and I've got some like rockets and darts and stuff like that I had to use. This is probably, for me, like one of, like it's probably my most favorite, not necessarily most favorite, but one of the funnest playthroughs, just because the bounty hunter has kind of like just a pretty cool kind of story and timeline with like the Great Hunt and all that stuff. But I really do, I think my favorite one to play is probably my Sith Warrior. That's the one that I first started out, like when I very first started playing Star Wars: The Old Republic many years ago. Pretty much when it first came out. My Sith Warrior was the one I started with. No, I think my Sith Warrior is like level 40 something. This isn't a game that I have played like a lot of over the past years, but I do revisit it from time to time.
I'm sure we can come to some agreement. I'm looking for someone.
I'm not huge on like MMOs and stuff like that, but this is one of the few that I really do enjoy because I'm a huge Star Wars. Like, I love Star Wars. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars.
Let them go, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
And yeah, I love Star Wars, so this is one of those games that I really got into. And it's come a long way with the customization options and some of the menus and just the theatrical cinematic trailers are like
troops, but we've been
super well done. Sometimes I just go back and rewatch them just to rewatch them.
An old excavation site nearby, but everyone I've sent to investigate has turned up dead. That's
my
all I
bounty
know.
hunter
Hope it was worth all the lives you stole today.
is probably like
Now let
my second or third most played profile on here. But like I said, I'll be playing a mixture of all of them, and I'm going to revisit them. Like, this is going to be just kind of an ongoing series of just kind of like playing through Star Wars, The Old Republic, and just kind of rambling about Star Wars. There's plenty of things I can ramble about for Star Wars. I could go on forever. One of my favorite things, at least about this game, is that your characters are actually fully voiced, which is really nice, because in a lot of games where there's like dialogue and stuff like that, you're like the silent protagonist. So it's nice to actually have voice lines throughout the whole thing. And, you know, actually being able to have conversations with your companion and not just selecting the voice line and then letting the companion speak. Actually having like an actual conversation with your companion or whoever. Also, I apologize if I am checking the map a lot. That's just a thing that I do. I like to know exactly where I should be going. Especially when it's for a mission. There are times where I don't take any missions and I just kind of explore. But when I'm on an actual mission, I like to know exactly where I'm going and where things are. And because the maps can be so big and so fast, and there's so many different branches and ways you can take, it's easy to get lost. So, yeah, I definitely check the map quite a bit, so I apologize if that is annoying. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video where it's literally just kind of roaming around some of the game worlds and just doing some of the side missions and stuff like that, and going into the lore of the Old Republic, or if you want me to kind of like this, where we're following like the mission timeline.
Wreaking havoc on the Republic forces. The colony's been pretty well decimated.
Like as you can see, obviously this character has voice.
That'll leave something
Or voice,
for the
like
Imperials
voice
to do.
lines, voice acting.
Your bounty. Good stack of credits by the look
But
of
you'll
it.
see, when I select, you'll actually see my character talks.
I appreciate the opportunity.
My pleasure.
And it's super cool that if you're wearing a helmet or a mask, it can actually, like, your voice will change compared to if you're wearing one or not. So it'll actually affect your, the voice. So it'll be like that little bit more like synthetic sounding, or kind of like you're actually talking through a helmet, which I thought was a nice touch. Yeah, see, we leveled up to level 34 just by doing that little part of the mission, by finishing that. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more just kind of an exploration video, or if you just want me to follow kind of like the storyline of each character, or if you want me to do a mix of both, just let me know. I'm always happy to hear from you guys and what you guys want to see. I've noticed there have been a lot of comments on a lot of the previous videos, but just kind of, if you guys want to comment, don't be afraid to. You know, just let me know what you guys think about the video. If there's things you want me to do, things you don't want me to do, just let me know. And I'm happy to always try to improve and make the content you guys want to make, but at the same time, you know, enjoy the content that I'm making. So like, if you guys just, you know, if there's something in the video you do or don't want to see, by all means, I'm open to suggestions. Depending on what it is, I may or may not do it, obviously within reason. But at the same time, if you guys are like, oh, just stop making, you know, videos, or stop making this kind of video, I might not do that, because there's certain games and certain content that I like to play, like to upload, and certain people will at some point like it. But enough of that, getting off topic. For Star Wars, so there, a lot of people get this game confused with a couple of other ones.
Do you require medical attention?
So this is Star Wars: The Old Republic. There are also two other games with very similar names: Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. So those ones are more like RPGs. This is an MMORPG. But those ones are just single player. And I'm not going to spoil anything for those who still haven't played them, because they're still very relevant to this day. And a lot of people still enjoy it, and they haven't played it yet and still want to. And there's lots of content out there about Knights of the Old Republic. So,
At your service, sir.
a lot of people get these games confused.
Travel route is confirmed.
I always just think Knights of the Old Republic, it was like the first ones that came out. Developed by BioWare. Who, some of you, if you guys know BioWare, they've developed a lot of games. A major franchise being Mass Effect, in the Mass Effect trilogy. Well, okay, so the trilogy, like Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and then for those of you who played it, Mass Effect Andromeda. It was okay. Like, I don't think it was the end of the world, and it wasn't the worst game ever, but definitely the first 3 Mass Effect games were better, in my opinion. But yeah, BioWare, still developing games. They developed great Star Wars games. But yeah, Knights of the Old Republic is different from Star Wars: The Old Republic. Also, I forgot to mention, if you guys play the Old Republic, let me know what you guys play, like what class you are, what like specialization you are. Like, let me know what your build is, and let me know your go-to build.
Just a pretty sidekick, Buster.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because you can actually openly like discuss it. It's kind of like Baldur's Gate in a way, where you can see what the different build things do. For me, Star Wars has been a major, like focal point growing up, and still to this day. Like when I was growing up, saw some of the movies, started with the original trilogy, because I wasn't old enough yet to see like the entire like prequels and then the original trilogy. So I watched the original trilogy first, then the prequels. I am one of those people who likes the prequels more than the original trilogy, and I know I'm gonna catch some hell for that, but I really enjoy the prequels. I know the Phantom Menace is very, very slow. I enjoyed it as a movie. Now this one, I know you guys are probably gonna hate me for, and that's okay, because I'm still gonna enjoy it one way or another. But I liked Attack of the Clones. I know it was not the best one, but I feel like a lot of people give it a lot more shit than it really deserves. Like for me, yes, some of it I do agree was not the best acting ever or the best writing ever, but for me, one of the biggest parts of that movie that was pretty cool was the whole thing with Obi-Wan going to Kamino and discovering the Golden Army. Then the whole thing on Geonosis, with the first battle of Geonosis, and the battle with Dooku, and then Yoda and Dooku, which eventually led to Episode 3, which was, in my opinion, like for me, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie. It's just, you know, the turning point of, like for Anakin, Obi-Wan, the Republic to the Empire, you know, Palpatine getting his way with Order 66 and all that. For me, it was the best one, just for me. And, you know, seeing Anakin kind of fall from the light and, you know, slowly turn into Darth Vader
Sidekick, Buster.
was pretty neat. Not saying the original trilogy is bad by any means. I do love the original trilogy as well. A New Hope, it's a little on the slower side, just like kind of getting going until Luke kind of, you know, joins the Rebel Alliance and that kind of thing. Then, you know, obviously, Obi-Wan or Ben Kenobi and his like kind of reunion with Vader, which, if anyone watched the Kenobi series on Disney Plus, it kind of like starts to make a little more sense as to why Obi-Wan, like obviously yes, he's old at that point, but at the same time, like why it kind of makes sense why he kind of did what he did, because you don't, unless you watched Kenobi, you don't really know what happened between episode you don't know that, like, when he kind of became like a recluse on Tatooine, and the kind of lead up where he watched Luke, and all that kind of stuff, and what he went through leading up to episode 4. So yeah, episode 4 was still good. I know Empire, The Empire Strikes Back, is like, for a lot of people, is the GOAT of the trilogy. Of like the prequels, original trilogy, and the sequels. I do like Empire. Like I said, I like all the Star Wars movies, but I just have my favorites. For me, Empire was like that bit of a darker turn. Obviously with like Han Solo getting captured. And just kind of everything that happens. Like on Hoth, and going to Dagobah with Luke, and training and all that. And Luke losing his hand on Bespin. Now,
Oh, crud.
Thought you'd be harder to get
I am not, like, Empire is not one of my favorites.
One of those kids hunting Sith spawn on Drummond Cast.
Now,
remember?
Revenge of the Jedi actually was a name that came up for Return of the Jedi. It was one of the concept names for that movie.
I'd lead you to
Where
I'm looking to
Return of the Jedi
to reclaim my clan's honor.
in the higher like rankings for me for movies. It's in my top.
Thanks.
Probably in my top 3.
I promise you I can find him. I already know where to start.
Then,
Someone directed Dew collectors, beast
a lot of
traps
it
around
because
an old
of just kind
transport
of
station. Have to be the
you've seen
traders.
Luke grow from like the
So special
beginner
about dew collectors and traps.
Yoda's
These scavengers
teachings
can bring in supplies.
and
They're G-codes.
barely
Only
grasping
found
the
one entrance
Force
into the station. It's thick with rat
in
ghouls.
on Dagobah
Risky.
and
Got a way
Empire.
to throw off rat ghouls, but I'll need
to
help.
now being
Materials.
a Jedi Knight, slowly working his way to becoming a Jedi Master.
Materials am I looking for?
Fresh rat ghoul bodily
And,
fluids, both blood and
in
waste.
the beginning,
and a
very
decomposing rat ghoul. At least
very
3
cool
gold.
opening.
Check these waypoints.
Going to
We'll rendezvous at the
Tatooine.
transport station.
Going to Jabba's palace, trying to rescue Leia and Han. And that whole plan was kind of cool. Then, seeing the second Death Star being built, Vader's redemption arc at the end, for me, that was pretty cool. Luke and Leia finding out their brother and sister. That was all super cool for me. Then I watched Rogue One. Rogue One was good. Don't get me wrong, it was pretty good. I just it's not one that I remember a whole lot about. Like, I remember certain aspects of it, but I don't really remember like a lot of it. I did like the ending, how it basically tied right in to A New Hope. Like how it basically went right from the Death Star plans getting, making its way from, see, I can't even remember the planet. Yeah, yeah, it's gone. I play it quite a bit in Battlefront 2. But yeah, when you see the planet, or the Death Star plans, basically make it to the Tantive 4, and you know, Vader going down the hallway. That was a pretty badass scene. You know, just cutting up rebels. And how that basically leads right into episode 4. Thought that was neat. I've never watched Solo. I do plan to at some point, but I kinda have to be in the right mood. Excuse me. Now I have watched season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. I haven't seen season 3 yet. It was a good show. I really liked the show. Din Djarin, very cool character, very good character to be able to get kind of like, you're able to get attached to him. Especially with Grogu.
I'm not scared of you.
Or as some people still openly refer to him as Baby Yoda. Yes, he's the species that Yoda is, but he is not Yoda. Grogu was a survivor from the Jedi Temple raid and Jedi Purge on Coruscant. Now, the Book of Boba Fett, I watched that as well. It was good. It was pretty good. It did kind of end up just being a tie-in to The Mandalorian, which I thought was okay. It was a pretty decent show. I enjoyed watching it. Then I watched the Clone Wars. So Star Wars The Clone Wars. I think I have seen almost every season, because there was 7 seasons. And I watched season 1, 2, and 3, definitely 4. But I don't think I watched all of 5, and I don't think I watched 6. Now, as soon as I heard that season 7, or the final season, was coming out, as soon as it came out on Disney Plus, I binge watched as much as I could. Loved it. It was really good. I've never watched Rebels. I just don't see myself getting into it. I just don't know it enough, and I don't really like the animation style. For me, the lightsabers are like too thin. They're too skinny. I'm not saying it's bad animation, I don't like the style, for me. Let's see what else. I guess The Bad Batch as well. The Bad Batch was good. I watched the first season. I haven't watched the other ones yet. I do plan to at some point, but not yet. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm trying to put off talking about the sequel trilogy as much as I can. Or as long as I can. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about it. For me, I saw them all in theaters. All the sequel trilogy. And The Force Awakens it was okay. I wasn't a fan. Like, it was okay for being a Star Wars movie, but it is definitely not. Like, for me, the sequels, they are all in my bottom 3. But I still do have them ranked. basically have them. Excuse me. I have them ranked. So from lowest to highest, or like, in my opinion, worst to best. I have got or I guess we'll go best to worst. I've got The Last Jedi. Now, for me, it was the best one because it kind of tied things together a bit. With Rey, and obviously with Luke being in it, and the ending with, you know, Luke doing his thing against Kylo Ren. But there were a lot of things in that movie that I thought could have been done a lot better or just left out. Big one. Big number one. Being the whole thing with Rose and Finn. Like, I would have been 100% happy with Finn doing his thing and taking out the big, like, laser that was gonna blast through the blast door. And, you know, sacrificing himself and that being, you know, 100% A-okay. Because I think that would have been, you know, it would have been a reason for the next movie to have maybe done even better. Because Poe and Rey and the Resistance, they would want to try to do more because of one of their heroes sacrificed himself, right? But nope. Good old Rose Tico had to come in there and basically knock him out of the way and damn near kill him and herself, just to try to sacrifice him. And then they ended up getting the blast doors blown open anyway. Yeah, that was a big thing for me. Number 2, I was not a fan of Vice Admiral Holdo. I don't understand. Like, I understand where, like, why they wrote the character, but I don't feel like she fit into that scenario and that role very well. You know, because Poe is a hotshot pilot and a damn good one. I guess she just didn't approve of it, and that it was hard, you know, when he didn't follow orders and stuff. That, I don't know, I didn't see how she fit very well. So, okay, so yeah, The Last Jedi was my number 1 of them.
I'm not scared of you.
Number 2, Force Awakens. It was pretty good. You know, the introduction of Rey and Finn and Poe. I don't really have a lot to say about the movie. Yeah, the way that Kylo was introduced, I guess. I guess the other thing for The Last Jedi, one quick point. The way that they killed Snoke so easily, I honestly almost laughed at that. Because I was like, if Snoke was supposed to be so powerful, that just didn't make sense to me. And then, yeah, The Force Awakens, not a lot to say about it. Now, the last one, the one that I really couldn't stand, was The Rise of Skywalker.
I doubt it still functions.
I think that was so lazily written. You know, the biggest thing, one of the lines that I was just so confused about why they didn't do more with it or develop it more. Somehow, Palpatine returned. It's like, what? Like, where? Like, why? I just didn't understand. It didn't make sense to me, and I honestly can say I that is the one Star Wars movie that I openly dislike. And just the whole, yes, a couple of good things with, Kylo, I guess, throwing his lightsaber away and kind of, his redemption. But, like, Finn, I don't feel did a whole lot. Like, Finn was just kind of one of those characters through the whole sequel trilogy that didn't really do much. I didn't really see him as a main role. He was more of a supporting character to me than anything. Yeah. And then the whole ending with, I am all of the Jedi, that thing. And then just, I guess, how she is Rey Skywalker. I'm sure, I just don't really like that movie. I'm sorry for those who do like it, but I cannot get behind Rise of Skywalker. So, I had to kind of wrap up that little rant on those 3 movies. They're at the very bottom of my list. Very quickly, I will go through my ranking for the 9, the prequel, original, and sequel trilogy. Number 1, Revenge of the Sith. Number 2, Return of the Jedi. Number 3, Attack of the Clones. Number 4, you're gonna hate me for this. The Phantom Menace. Number 5, Empire. Number 6, A New Hope. Number 7, Last Jedi. 8, Force Awakens. And number 9, Rise of Skywalker. So, feel free to grill me in the comments. I am open. I am happy to have discussions. Within reason. Grill me. Like, don't just resort to name calling and that kind of stuff. If you're gonna comment about it, be respectful, please, of each other and of me and all that stuff, and of YouTube. I am 100% fine with having an open discussion with you guys about it. But be respectful, please. I will delete comments that are disrespectful and rude and are just here to be shitted. In the comments, I am open for debates and discussions, but please, like I said, be respectful. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of move off the movies now, because we are starting to come to a close here. Like I said earlier,
Smelled you coming.
I could ramble for hours about Star Wars.
I've got the Raggles byproducts.
And as you can see, I've rambled for almost 40 minutes about it.
This'll take a minute.
So, well, over 40 minutes now. Well, maybe not at this point, but it'll be probably over 40 minutes by the time this video's done.
Keep your blaster ready.
And, yeah, next time, I think what I'll do is ramble about some of the Star Wars
I'm gonna
games.
open up with everything I've got.
Because I touched on it a little bit here, touched on KOTOR, and,
The fumes put the rat ghouls out. We might see them through.
and the movies. But
Wow, that's a
I'm gonna
scout.
cut off here before I ramble
Please
even
don't leave me
more.
behind.
Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and a comment, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, all that good stuff. And stay tuned for more Star Wars The Old Republic content.